Hello, fourth graders. Welcome. You have found lesson 4.11. Today we are going to talk about swimming pools. Hey, look at that. Yesterday wrestling and today swimming pools. Math is just going crazy. All right, let's think about what do all of these pools have in common? Okay, yes, right, water, you can swim in them, all of that. Now, what do all of their shapes have in common? All right, all of these are what are called rectilinear shapes, and I wouldn't expect you to know that word. But if you look at rectilinear shapes, they are all made of connecting rectangles, right? So if you look at the pools here, right? Here's a here's a rectangle, and here's a rectangle, here's a small rectangle, here's a rectangle. On this one, here's a big rectangle, there's a little rectangle there. Okay, so these are all rectilinear shapes. Now, we're going to be finding the area of these rectilinear shapes. But before we can do that, first we need to remember the formula for finding the area of a rectangle. And that is to multiply the length times the width, right? Remember, it's just like an array, right? Back when you learned arrays. And the faster way to do that, instead of counting every single box, is just to multiply how many rows you have and how many are in each row. So the area of this, 5 times 8, the area, oh, that's an interesting marker, 40 inches squared. Okay, remember we're dealing with square inches here. What is the area of this shape? It is 21 inches squared. Remember, if you just put 21, you are mostly right. But in order to be all the way right, you have to put the label also. Last one, what's the area of that? 90 inches squared. So when we want to find the area, we multiply the length and the width of a rectangle. So what could we do about finding the area of that thing? What are your ideas? What might we try here? All right, there's some ideas. I'm going to teach you how to do this. So our goal here, and this is going to have a hint into how we're going to do this, is I will find the area of a rectilinear figure by dividing it into smaller rectangles. Okay, and that is what we are going to do, right? We're going to take shapes that are composed of rectangles, and we're going to find the area of each part of this shape. So, right, we could do this with any shape. Look at all these weird shapes. Okay, we can always divide them into rectangles. So here's our steps, right? You can look at step number 1 here. It says divide the shape into separate rectangles. So, right, you're going to divide this into a big pool and a baby pool, right? And so we're going to be using line tool today and dividing it right there, right? See, now we have the baby pool and now we have the big pool. Then we're going to figure out the length and width of each rectangle. Now, this is important because there's lots of numbers here and you're not going to use all of them. And sometimes there'll be a number that you need that you won't find there. Okay, so you have to figure out the length and the width of each rectangle. And one way that you can do that is to kind of trace the length and the width of each rectangle. So I need to know, if I'm going to talk about the baby pool, here's the length, right? And here's the width. And remember, it doesn't really matter what we call length and width, if we just, as long as we have the two sides. So how long is this side? It is 3. 3 what? I don't know. 3. There's no units here. All right, we'll call it 3 feet. And the length is 4. So the area of this space, 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, so that was easy with the little pool. But look at the big pool here. So the length is from here to here, not all the way, right? And so this 10 right here, this 10 is this whole space. So I'm not going to use the 10, right? The number that tells me how far it is from here to here is 7, right? So sometimes we have to look across. Now, how wide is it? From here to here is 6. So I did not need the 10, and I did not need the 2. The 2 just told me this little measurement right here. 7 times 6 is 42. And then I add those two parts. And then I put my label, feet squared. Okay, so these are the steps. Divide the shape into separate rectangles, figure out the length and width of each rectangle, find the area of the smaller rectangles, right? We did that, and then add them up at the end. Okay, let's do one together here. All right, what do we need to do first? We need to split this up. Let's split it. Let's give the baby pool. I used our line tool. You're going to be using a line tool also if you're doing this online with me. All right. Did that. Great. Here we can cross it out. Bloop. All done with that. Figure out the length and width of each rectangle. All right. You want to start with the baby pool or the big pool? Let's start with the big pool because it's actually easier because there's something kind of crazy here. All right. It is this much long, 5 centimeters. And it is this wide, 3 centimeters. 5 times 3. Well, I should be letting you do that. How much is the area of the big pool there? It is 15 centimeters squared. All right, now we're gonna have something tricky here. So the little pool, here's how long it is. How long is the little pool? 2 centimeters, right? Because you can always look across, right? Because opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. So 2 centimeters times, times this. But I don't know how long that is. I could look over here times this. But I don't know how long that is either. I know this 5 is all the way from here to here. So I have to think about how I could figure that out. Well, if I know that this whole thing is 5 from here to here, what else do I know? Well, I know that this is 3, right? So from here to here has to be 3. Oh, now I have enough information, right? So 3 plus something equals 5. See, sometimes you have to figure out missing sides in order to get the length, right? This whole thing all the way was 5. This part was 3. So this part has to be 2 centimeters. 2 times 2 is 4. What do I do with my parts? I add them together. And how much do you get? You get 19 centimeters squared. All right, let's take a look at where yours is. Yours is over here in a Google slide presentation. So what you're going to be doing is using the line tool to split the figure. You're going to solve the area of each part and then add the parts. Now, sometimes you need to figure out one of the sides that might be missing. Let's do this one here together. All right, I'm going to split this into 2 pools. Here's my line tool. I can choose the line I want. I'm going to draw a line. Whoa. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try again. Line tool. There we go. And split. If I want it to be bigger, let's see. I can change how thick it is if I want to. Now it's thicker. All right. So I need to now know how long this is. We have 4 times 6. So this one's 24. I'm writing it down on my piece of paper right now. You can't see my paper. And then this one is 3 long. And now I have to figure out how long this is. All right. Well, This is kind of challenging, isn't it? Here's 4, right? So from here to here is 4. From about right there, let's put a line on there just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. This is 4. Because I know this is 4, right? This is 4 right here. So this has to be 4. So now how much is this? Well, this is 6. But it sticks out here. And it sticks out 3 inches, right? So if this part is 3, then this part is also 3, right? So we'd have 4 here and then 3 more. So this would be 7 all the way across, 7. Right? How did I figure that out? Well, I knew the bottom part was 4 because I looked across. And then the top part has to be 3 because if this is 3, then this is 3 because it equals 6. You just have to do a lot of thinking here to try to figure those out. Okay, so 7 times 3 is 21. And so I'm adding those up on my paper right now, and I see 45 is the answer. Can I write here? Oh, there we go. 45. And since I can't do a little exponent, I'm going to put square inches. All right, so you have some to practice on. You have this one, and this crazy one, which I think you can figure out. Okay, but that is your goal here today, to try to solve the area of rectilinear figures. It's a skill that we're gonna, work on in our groups as well, for sure. All right, 4th graders, if you need any help with anything, be sure to let me know. And good luck.